Okay, hi everyone. It's Stephanie with Lumeria's Star, and today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at my this is a reflection video of the decks I worked with in October. I feel like I haven't made a video in a while, and I think that's because I don't know, October was just a crazy busy month for me, and it's my favorite month, obviously, because of Halloween. And I was really trying to do everything I wanted to do while also being present and enjoying the things I wanted to do and use all my spooky decks. And I did 3 different events with tarot in the month of October. I had family obligations. I had to do all the fall things. So I just feel like I was so busy that I didn't quite get to enjoy it. And I'm really hoping that, well, my goal is November is like my slow down month. I need to go inward, slow down, and just be present and enjoy less things, like not packing my schedule. So, hopefully there'll be more videos to come in November because I just want to, again, slow down and just focus on the things that I enjoy. So without further ado, we're going to take a look at my October decks that I used and for my Lumeria's Star Tarot Edit, which is my monthly tarot edit challenge that I created over on Instagram. Feel free to join in just using the hashtag. And yeah, let's take a look at the decks I used, what worked, what didn't, and let's go from there. So the first deck I wanted to show is in this adorably cute little pink ghosty bag that I picked up from Coffee with the Fool. I love her bags. Jess's bags are so cute. I have a bunch of them. And I felt like this was a perfect match with the Macabre Tarot because they're both just spooky and cute in my opinion. I really love the Macabre Tarot's box, which is the coffin shaped box that opens up, and I have it saved. It's in my office, but I wanted something that was a little bit more portable for this deck. So this was super fun. I really enjoyed working with this for the month of October. And yeah, I enjoy this deck for what it is. I feel like sometimes it's hard for me to read just because a lot of the courts are renamed. So we've got Massacre, which I believe is the Queen energy. So some of this I was just kind of reading intuitively just with the image, which was kind of fun. I like sometimes when decks just either rename things or go their own way because it kind of gives me permission to just read completely intuitively. So I noticed that's what I was doing with this deck. I really like Sam's artwork, and I think I've said this before because I have a couple of her decks. They kind of tap me into this like inner teenager vibe. Like I feel like this was the artwork I really loved as a teenager. So that, I mean, look at this. I love this image. So fierce. It's just a really great, cute, and spooky deck. So this one was a win for me. I really enjoy it. And then this paired really nicely with another deck that I'm about to show. So yeah, this was a win, really enjoyed, and I really love my deck and bag pairing. So this was a win for October. I'll be sad to pack this away, but I do like to work with my decks seasonally. So yeah, I have some other darker decks I want to work with for November. So this is the Macabre Tarot. So this paired really, really nicely with the Embroidered Graveyard Oracle. So this deck is gorgeous. Everything about this is just so high quality. And I also have her embroidered, is it the Embroidered Forest? So first of all, look at these backs with the beautiful planchette, and we've got the foil, so beautiful. So these are all her own embroidery. So that makes this deck really, really special. And yeah, this one just feels, this deck feels sacred. To me, I also think this is a standalone deck, and I'll show you why in a minute. But I also really love these interesting keywords It's also great for ancestor work. So we have different cards with different like family names. We have like a mother-father card, brother. So it's really great if for Samhain you like to connect with maybe, you know, ancestors or past family members. There's the father card. I also think it has really interesting keywords. So we have Pathfinder, Pinky Swear, Rebel. I just feel like these are keywords that I don't have in other decks, which makes this really unique. Let's see what else. Sacred Rage. I pulled that a lot, which that tracks, that resonates. Let me see some other ones. I pulled this one too. Temptress, which is totally like Little Mermaid. Decadence, Community. Here's Grandpa. I did pull that one too, which was interesting. Twins. That one reminds me of The Shining. Breath Between. Cherish Me. Trying to see what some other unique keywords here. Sanctuary, Beauty, Comforted. We also have some of the Sabbats too, so you can work with this seasonally. Perspective, Samhain Veil Walker, Love and Blood. I really like that one. Release Tears, Live Deliciously. Love that card. So this one is such a beauty and I really, really enjoy it. This is such a spooky deck, but I also think it is a great standalone deck and I'm gonna show you why in 1 minute. So let me put this back in its box. And the box is gorgeous. Like look at the inside of that with the skulls and the butterflies or moths. Okay, the reason I think this is such a great standalone deck is the gorgeous book it comes with. It just feels so special. It feels like a spell book. Again, look at this like interior paper. And this has a couple pages for each, like a full image for each card. And we've got, you know, the meaning, spirit communing and introspection. And then in the back, there are a lot of, let's see here. Okay. So in the back of the book, there is a lot of like rituals and spells. So it just feels like something you could just devote some time to and really just, you know, different spells that might call to you. Ancestor honoring, because we do have those ancestor cards. Journaling, shadow work, self-love. And then we also have a whole bunch of goddess correspondences, which I think is really cool. And then we have more spells. And then we have a whole bunch of spreads. So this pairing together is just really special. I really enjoyed working with it for October. I could definitely have used more time with it, but again, I was so busy this month, so I did play with it, but I do hope to use it throughout the year, especially if I'm doing like ancestor work. So this one, huge win, love it, and pairs really beautifully with the Macabre Tarot. All right, let me take a sip of my tea. Okay, so the next deck that was in my edit, which I didn't use at all, I used maybe once, is the Flux Arcana Tarot. And it's not because I don't love it, because I do love it. For some reason, I just didn't pick it up. I picked it up, I think, one time to read. And I really love this deck. It's not going anywhere. But for whatever reason, I was not really called to use it much. And I'm not going to question it. It just wasn't the vibe. Wasn't the vibe this month. But this deck isn't going anywhere because I do love it. I love the artwork. It is a great reader. I tend to only use this during the darker months of the year. Yeah, so this isn't going anywhere, but it just wasn't connecting with me the way I wanted it to this October, and that's fine. I know that this deck has been a great reader for me in the past, so it's not like I'm feeling like, okay, like maybe our work is done or maybe this deck isn't for me. So again, it's not going anywhere, but you know, me and the Flux Arcana Tarot just, you know, we just didn't get a real chance to connect this October, and that's okay. But she is staying and I love her. Okay, so another deck that I really enjoyed always is my Marigold Tarot. So this one I've had for quite a long time, and it's getting the box. I don't know what happened, but a lot of my decks are getting like beat up. I don't know if it's like the basket I keep it in, but this is just such a great reader. It is more pippish, but I just love the aesthetic of the black and the gold and all of the skulls and the bones and the skeletons and the flowers. Like I've realized that some of my favorite decks include bones and botanicals. Like I think that really is a vibe for me. So this deck is, oops, it's upside down. This deck is such a great reader. I love this for the darker half of the year. I do love that the creator, what's her name? Amrit Brar, she uses a lot of her Indian influence in here. So we have the skeletons wearing like authentic, like cultural clothing. And I think that's really great. So this one is a win, and I really like to pair this because the deck is a little bit pippish. I really love this world card. Because this deck is a bit pippish, I do like to pair it with other decks to get some other energies in. So I will show you the other two decks I paired this with. So this is the Marigold Tarot, and she was a delight as always. Okay, so the two other decks I paired the Marigold Tarot with is my Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. This is the indie edition that a lot of people don't realize exists. And also the, oh my gosh, my boxes. The Mildred Payne's Oracle of Black Enchantment. So let's take a look at these together. So I do also have the mass market edition. I picked this up long before this was ever going to be mass market. I happen to, the creator Juliet Diaz, she also lives in New Jersey, just like me. So I've met her. She used to have a witch shop in Jersey City where I lived. So I actually like met her, knew her, and I knew they were creating this deck. So I just bought this deck online when it was very first indie. I don't think anyone really knew about it. And the indie version is amazing. It's actually a shame that I believe the indie version is 60 cards where the mass market is only 44. So they take out a lot of really great cards, which is a bummer. So that's why I love this deck. Like I think Raven isn't in the original. Skull I know isn't in, or I'm not the original, the mass market. There's such great cards in here that aren't in there. I think Spirit isn't in there. What else? And I do like that these aren't glossy like mass market. I don't think Creativity's in there either, and that's such a good one. I like how these aren't glossy, and I also like how they're tarot sized. So this one isn't going anywhere. That's also not, Centaur is not in the mass market. I don't think Blood Magic is either. And I don't think Coven is either, which is so good. So this deck really connects me to just going deeper and darker for the darker months of the year. This to me feels, the energy of this deck and the artwork really captures how I experience Samhain, how I experience Halloween, how I experience fall and autumn. This is the visual interpretation of how it feels for me. So I love this deck so much. I love the artwork of Giada Rose. I've said that before. Like her artwork is kind of folksy, kind of, but dark and haunting. And yeah, I love it so much. So this deck is wonderful. That's not going anywhere. And it's always a favorite. I'm always really excited to work with this deck every year. And I like to keep it special, so I don't use it any other time. It's just a joy to bring out every October. So this is Always a Hit, Always a Win, Seasons of the Witch, Samhain Oracle, the indie version. And I paired that with the, and the Marigold Tarot with Mildred Payne's Oracle Black Enchantment. This is from Deviant Moon. I know there are other iterations of this deck, like quite a few with different colors. This is the original, so it's kind of just like this black and brown. I love this artwork. It reminds me of like the old school, I don't even know the type of art. Is this like wood carvings or like lino cut? I'm not sure. But this reminds me of like old artwork you would see in like textbooks when you were learning about the Salem witch trials. Like I remember learning about that in school and being so fascinated. Oops, that's upside down. So these are the backs. These are a bit bigger, so I only pull one. And I did edge these in like a burnt orange, which I thought came out pretty cool. So this one is, it's just fun. It's dark. I love Patrick Valenza's artwork. It's macabre. There is a guidebook online, so I've bookmarked it and kind of saved it on my phone. So when I do use this, most of the time I read it intuitively. I think you can get a lot of hits from this artwork because it's so like expressive. But I do like to check with the guidebook too and see what he has to say. So this is really fun. This just kind of adds to like a dark element to the readings. Yeah, I really love his artwork, and I'm thinking I need a deck of his that is good for like year round. Like I do have the traditional Deviant Moon. I know that's like his original deck, and I'm using that for specifically inner child work. So I am kind of using that all year. But I know he has one in like more color. I think it's like Lucid Dreams, something the Lucid Dreams. I'm thinking of maybe picking that one up just because I do really enjoy his artwork and just the intuitiveness of them. I find them very expansive, very visual. They tell a story, and I think that's how I kind of view my tarot practice. It's visual storytelling. So I just like to lay cards out and I just notice what I see, and I let the story unfold and come to me. And I think his cards are particularly great for that. I think that's why I also don't love pip cards and Marseille, because they prevent me from reading visually and intuitively. I mean, I can read them, I do read them, but it's not my card of choice because it really kind of blocks that aspect for me. You know, I could definitely read numerologically, but there is something about the visual storytelling aspect that I love. And yeah, Patrick Valenza's artwork is so great for visual storytelling. So this is the Mildred Payne's Oracle Black Enchantment, the original edition, edged myself. And this is so fun. And this will always, I think, be a Halloween classic for me. So that was a win. Okay. So I did a lot of readings this month. I did 3 events, tarot events. I did 2 fall bazaars locally in my town, and then I also did a Halloween party at my local metaphysical shop that I read at. So these are the decks. These were my working decks this month. These decks put in work. So let us honor them because they did a lot of work this month. So the Halloween Tarot is probably my favorite deck to read with for Halloween when I do events, and largely because it's cute, it's not scary, it's very classic Halloween. Like the tower is, you know, like a haunted house, so it's not, you know, not everybody likes dark and scary, so I feel like this is Halloween in a very like playful, childlike way. So I also did kids readings with this deck. I tend to do a lot of kids readings at events. They're a lot of fun. I feel like I'm a school counselor again. So this deck is wonderful for events. It's a wonderful reader for a large demographic of people. because the artwork is just so cute and fun and accessible. But I also think that it's so heavily Rider-Waite Smith, and that is my reading style of choice. That's the one I learned on. So for me, anything largely RWS is a very quick and easy reader for me. So when I do events, I could bring some more of my like indie decks, but the reason I don't is because a lot of that artwork takes time. Like I like to sit with them for my own personal readings. I like to sit with the message. Maybe I like to read the guidebook. Maybe I like to meditate on it. But when I'm reading in public at events, I need quick readers because people are paying, you know, for 15 minutes. So I want them to get the most out of their reading. So I don't want to be spending a large portion of my time trying to figure out what the cards are saying. I need cards that are quick. I want cards that are, the message is very clear to me. And this deck is very Rider-Waite Smith. I would even say this is a great learning deck. I think this is a great deck for beginners who also, you know, who want to get into tarot and also love Halloween. Would highly suggest this. And this is also, the price point is really good. It's mass market. I got this, I think I got this at Barnes & Noble's, but you could get it on like Amazon, probably any bookstore. And it's just so good. I also have this in the tin, which I don't have with me for this video. That one's in my purse, I think. That's the one I take when I go hiking. I take just wherever I go out when, you know, sometimes you're out and about and you just need to pull some cards. It happens. So that deck is in my bag. So yeah, this one, I want to honor her. She put in work this month. This one needs a good cleansing because she's tired. So very, very pleased with her performance this month. Oops, I can't get this back in the box. She probably needs a bag eventually. I don't know why I still have this in the tuck box. Okay, so that is my classic Halloween tarot. This is by Kipling West. All right, so another deck I use for my events. I usually, when I do events in public, I like to have at least 2 decks. I like people to choose the artwork they're into just because they feel more connected to their reading. So I did the Halloween tarot, which is like cute, kitschy, child-friendly. It's really friendly for anyone. I also included my Deadweight Apocalyptic Survivor Edition deck. This is by Tarot Collectibles. And this deck is so fun. I think it's fun. So these are the backs. I did edge this myself in a blood red, which you will see why. So this deck is the Rider-Waite Smith, reimagined as complete zombies. And on top of that, this is the Apocalyptic Survivor Edition. So it's meant, the artwork is meant to look like it's destroyed. It's been burned. It's covered in blood. And like you found this, like when you were, you know, roaming the wastelands of the, you know, post-apocalyptic world. So this was for my zombie fans or my horror fans. So I had quite a few people who did choose this deck. And again, it takes a certain person who wants a reading with this, but I think it adds a really playful element for people who, you know, either love zombies or just really love to go like full in on Halloween energy, which to me, a lot of it's zombies. I love horror. So this deck is so much fun. And again, as I mentioned before, when I read for events in public, I like a quick reader. So anything Rider-Waite Smith is the way I go. Not to mention for people who have had readings before, I think a lot of people really do like to see cards that they know. So this is so fun. So much fun. This deck also put in the work this month. So, yep, that was another hit. And I've got to cleanse her too because she had, you know, she did a lot of work, read for a lot of different people. And I was actually this year letting people actually choose the cards with their own hands with, you know, the past years with COVID, I let people stop touching things, and I would do it themselves, and now I felt comfortable to let people do it again. So definitely need to cleanse those. Okay, next deck I used that was a very big surprise to me. I use this specifically for in-person readings for these events, and this is the Practical Magic Inner Witch Oracle. This is the 2nd edition, and I believe this is the full moon edition because it's got the gold. I think the new moon edition had like black holographic, but this deck paired really nicely with the 2 I just shared, the Halloween Tarot and the Deadweight. So the readings I was doing, I would just pull one oracle as like to round out their message. And we were really focusing on the keywords here. So it doesn't matter if like people weren't familiar with the book or the movie, we would just focus on the keyword: change, connections, healing, inner child. This is a wonderful deck, in my opinion, for in-person readings. And I had never used this deck for in-person readings, and I just looked at it and I was like, you know what, let me just grab this as I'm heading out the door. We'll see. I wasn't sure, but I was like, we'll see, let me bring it. And I was so pleasantly surprised how well she read. So this is now going to be a new favorite in regards to holiday readings, like when I read for the spooky season. This is it. She performed so well. Ooh, these are all upside down. And people loved it. People loved the artwork, and if they were familiar with the movie or the book, they really enjoyed it. So it was a nice way to bring in the Halloween element without being scary. Made it really relatable and witchy. These are all upside down. So this came up a lot for people, stability. Feels like that's something people are really missing right now. So yeah, this was wonderful. I'm really happy with how this deck worked this month. So this is the Practical Magic Inner Witch Oracle. This is by Grounded by the Moon. So that was a win. Okay, so a few more. We've got my Halloween Oracle. So this one I really just use for myself. This is a deck I use for journaling. And it's just fun. I mean, is the artwork my favorite? No, not really. But it's Halloween themed, and anything Halloween themed I'm kind of into. So not my favorite artwork. It's, you know, a little bit more digital, computer generated. I don't even know if it is, but that's how I feel the artwork is. But the keywords are great. And, you know, I would pull one card in the morning and journal on whatever came up. And it always did give me what I needed to hear, whether I liked it or not. So this was lovely. I don't tend to typically bring this in with tarot. This is kind of just a standalone, slow deck, one card pull for journaling. I pulled this card a couple times actually, which totally makes sense. This is very much like my Persephone card. Yeah, I enjoy it. This deck is really just for me, for my slow morning journal practice. And yeah, it's fun, it's kitschy, it's Halloween. What's not to enjoy? So this one worked out great for me. And I'll put it away until next season, which is so sad. I don't know why Halloween isn't more than like 1 month long. Doesn't seem right. Okay, my last 2 decks that I worked with this month are together in this bag, which is so cute. We've got like a cute cartoon version of all these horror characters. And let me show you what I have in here. So I have 2 decks. And I really like these to work together. So we've got the Creepy Tarot, and this is just a major arcana deck. There is a full deck now that I didn't pick up because it is, the minors are pips. And as I said before, I really like scenic minors. So I have the major arcana, and then I like to pair it with the Skelly Tarot, which unfortunately is out of print now. So I apologize for that. Hopefully it'll go back in print because I know I always get questions, a lot of questions about this deck. So these two paired really, really nicely. And I think it's because their color palettes complement each other. They're kind of just like a black and white and gray aesthetic. And I really like being able to have a major arcana. Actually, what I would do with these two decks is I would pull one major arcana and then have the Skelly Tarot kind of just be like the supporting message. And that really worked out. So like the main message here would be Judgment, which is interesting. We got Justice and Knight of Pentacles. And I paired these together like this, and really, really enjoyed the readings. And I also feel like the artwork really complements each other. They both really have the like creepy, but make it kawaii, make it cute. So these are so fun. When I was working in a school last year, my kids really liked these decks together because they kind of just look like cartoons. And like these Skellies, they're just so cute. So these two decks have kind of found a love affair with each other. So they only like to exclusively work with each other. I don't know if you guys find that in your own tarot practice, if certain decks just kind of gravitate towards each other and like that's the only deck they want to work with. They don't want to work with other decks. And I found that with these two specifically, they pair with each other and each other only. So really funny how that works. Let me know in the comments below if you have decks that do that. They found their match, and that is the only other deck they will work with, because this deck, that is how they work. So let me put these back. Oh gosh, I hate fumbling with tuck boxes on camera. So we've got our Creepy Tarot and our Skelly Tarot. So these are all the decks I worked with in October. Every deck that I just shared is a deck that I love. I think the only decks that I really didn't use too much was the Flux Arcana, and it was just because I didn't. There was no reason. But yeah, these are some of my favorite decks to use like all year. So it's just such a joy to bring them out. I feel like it's how other people feel about like bringing their Christmas decorations out. Like I feel that way about spooky things. When I get to pull out my Halloween and darker things, I'd imagine that's how people feel when they take out their Christmas decorations every year. So it's really sad when I have to put them away. So it is sad that I'm going to say goodbye to these until next year, but that's what makes them special. So anyway, this video was kind of long. What am I at? Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is about a half hour long. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, just kind of looking back on my October decks and reflections. And this was for the Luminary Star Tarot edit for October. And stay tuned to see what decks I'll be working with in November. And feel free to join me over on Instagram. Just use the hashtag Luminary Star Tarot edit and share the decks you're using for the month. So I need to figure out what decks I'm using for November of 2022. It's not going to be any of these. These are going into storage again. But I personally like to keep the dark autumn energy through November. I don't fast forward to Yule. So the decks I'll be using in November will still have a dark energy. So stay tuned for that. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to give it a like, leave some comments down below. If you haven't already, please do subscribe, because I'm still a new channel and would love to have you here. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.